Memory. Some we remember, which are true and accurate recollections of events, like dropping your keys on the shelf and finding it there later. And some which seem true and familiar but are fabricated, such as remembering you dropped your keys on the same shelf and you do not find them there. These later instances, known as false memories, are not simply factual mistakes but complex cognitive constructions. They may arise vividly with confidence and coherence, yet reflect experiences that never actually occurred. This phenomenon challenges both the reliability of memory and our assumption about the nature of remembering itself. I am Nero and welcome back to the Cognitive Nomad. Elizabeth Loftus famously argues that false memories are constructed by combining actual memories with the content of suggestions received from others. Suggestions, imaginations, and post-event misinformation can each alter the original memory trace, sometimes replacing it altogether. How do you conceive memory? Is it reconstructive or reproductive? Bartlett proposes that memory is reconstructive rather than reproductive and is subject to socio-cultural shaping. In both cognitive and philosophical terms, memory is not a passive recorder but an active and interpretative process. Tang describes false memory as being constructed not through productive imagination commonly associated with your fantasies or invention, but through reproductive imagination which works in service of remembering. Memory in this view always involves an act of imaginative reconstruction. The memory image is not a direct replay of the past, but rather a representation shaped by intention and context. Through employment and recognition, the subject makes visible the remembered event, reconstructing it from fragments and cues. It is simpler to understand that memory isn't like the recording of a video like this that faithfully captures the event. Ultimately, false memory research underscores the constructive nature of memory. Whether these recollective experiences are shaped by social suggestion, emotional coherence, or internal narrative needs, false memories reveal that remembering is always an act of interpretation. As such, memory cannot fully be trusted as a factual archive, but must instead be understood as a dynamic, imaginative, and occasionally misleading faculty of the mind. Now let's look at memory formation. We have slightly explored it in our previous videos. Understanding memory formation requires examining its underlying processes: encoding, consolidation, and retrieval, each of which plays a pivotal role in how information is processed, stored, and ultimately remembered. Rather than serving as a passive recording mechanism, memory is inherently reconstructive and deeply influenced by both internal cognitive states and external environmental factors. Encoding is the initial stage of memory formation, wherein perceptual input is transformed into neural representation suitable for storage in long-term memory system. Far from being a passive imprinting of stimuli, encoding is an active and selective interpretative process influenced by attentional focus, emotional salience, prior knowledge, and social-cultural context. At the neural level, the hippocampus and adjacent medial lobe structures play critical roles in episodic memory encoding, facilitating the binding of multimodal features such as spatial location, perceptual detail, and emotional valence into a unified memory trace. These mechanisms are sensitive to both bottom-up and top-down influences. For instance, emotional arousal can enhance encoding through amygdala modulation of hippocampal activity, leading to more durable and vivid memory traces. Social and cultural frameworks also exert considerable influence on encoding. As noted by Wang and Ross, self-constructs and cultural schemas shape what individuals attend to and how they interpret and organize experiences at the point of encoding. For example, individuals in collectivist cultures may encode memories with a strong emphasis on social context and interdependence, whereas those from individualistic cultures may focus more on personal agency and internal states. These culturally guided attentional biases not only contribute to the narrative coherence and thematic organization of autobiographical memory, but also open the door to systematic distortion, a foundation for later development of false memories. Following encoding, memory traces undergo consolidation, a process by which initially fragile representations are stabilized and stored for long-term retention. Consolidation occurs at both cellular and systems level. On the cellular level, it involves molecular mechanisms such as protein synthesis at synapses, and on the systems level, memory traces are gradually transferred from hippocampal to neocortical networks, a process which allows them to become more enduring and less dependent on medial temporal structures. Furthermore, sleep plays a vital role in systems consolidation, promoting neural reactivation and reorganization of memory traces during slow wave sleep stages. This process enhances both the fidelity and accessibility of stored memories. However, consolidation is not a terminal state. Research into memory reconsolidation reveals that previously consolidated memories are liable to change when reactivated, during which they can be updated, altered, or even disrupted. This suggests that memory is perpetually malleable even long after its initial encoding. Every single time you remember, you're at risk of altering information and storing aspects of events that might be false. Emotionally salient memories, particularly traumatic or highly arousing events, are often consolidated more robustly. This enhanced consolidation can lead to persistent and intrusive memories. Similarly, this can also strengthen the persistence of false but emotionally coherent memories, which may feel subjectively real despite being factually inaccurate. Retrieval, which is the last stage in memory formation, is the process by which stored information is accessed and brought into conscious awareness. Unlike the deterministic playback of a stored file, retrieval is often reconstructive and shaped by current goals, situational context, and available cues. As Moscovich argued, memory retrieval engages executive and attentional processes that actively reconstruct past experiences, sometimes introducing distortions or omissions based on present cognitive schemas and motivational states. A key mechanism in retrieval-related distortion is source monitoring, the ability to attribute memories to their correct origin, whether an event actually happened or whether you imagined it. Errors in source monitoring contribute significantly to false memory formation, as individuals may misattribute the origin or veracity of their recollections, mistaking suggestions, inferences, or imagined details for real events. The act of retrieval itself can modify memory. This is known as retrieval-induced forgetting. The retrieval of one memory can inhibit the recall of related information, shaping the accessibility of other memory traces. Now let's imagine Sarah, who witnessed a car accident. Afterwards, the police is interviewing her for information. During the interview, the officers are asking her specific questions about the red car involved in the accident. Sarah focuses on trying to recall details about this red car, its make, model, the damage it sustained, and the driver. Later, when Sarah is asked to recall everything she saw at the accident, she remembers many details about the red car quite vividly. However, she struggles to remember details about the blue motorcycle that was also involved, even though it was a significant part of the scene. Additionally, once a memory is retrieved, it may undergo reconsolidation, during which again it becomes vulnerable to distortion or modification. This dynamic interplay between retrieval and reconsolidation illustrates how memories are continuously constructed and reconstructed rather than statically retrieved. In essence, consolidation is akin to the process of encoding, while reconsolidation is a post-retrieval process. A critical component in understanding the fluid nature of memory construction lies in the phenomenological characteristics of false memories, specifically their emotional load, vividness, and familiarity. These attributes contribute significantly to the subjective realism of false memories, often making them indistinguishable from true ones in terms of personal conviction. Emotion plays a pivotal role in both encoding and retrieval of memories. And this is equally true for false memories as well. Research suggests that emotional arousal can enhance consolidation, but it also increases the susceptibility to memory distortion. False memories imbued with emotional content tend to be more confidently held and recalled with greater detail than their neutral counterparts. This effect is partly due to the emotional salience, increasing attentional resources during encoding and retrieval, which in turn reinforces the perceived authenticity of the memory. False memories often possess a striking degree of vividness. Individuals report rich perceptual details such as color, sound, or spatial layout. The vividness can arise from imagination inflation, where repeatedly imagining an event enhances its perceptual qualities and contributes to the illusion of recollection. Neuroimaging studies further support this, showing that the same brain regions activated during true memory recall, such as the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex, are also engaged during the retrieval of false memories. Familiarity, or the sense that the stimulus has been encountered before, is a core component of recognition memory. False memories frequently exploit this sense of familiarity, especially when they are semantically related to true experiences. This reliance suggests that the fluency of processing related concepts may be misattributed to prior experiences, thus fostering false memories that feel subjectively familiar and true. These phenomenological characteristics, emotional load, vividness, and familiarity, not only contribute to the formation and persistence of false memories, but also challenge the assumption that memory is an accurate record of the past. They reinforce the idea that memory is a reconstructive process susceptible to internal and external influences that shape the way experiences are encoded, stored, and retrieved. See you in the next one.